Your understanding of certain concepts in crypto are the basis as to why you would think some projects are better than the other. This is how you construct an investment thesis, by the way. It doesn't necessarily mean that you will for sure pick winners, but using a strategy that involves putting together some data will help you repeat your wins, as you will know what makes you win or lose. I say this because people seldom watch videos like these. Talk less of watching them to the very end. However, we must understand some of these concepts because they will serve as our guiding compass as to what is possible or impossible when researching a project. So today we will discuss one of these concepts and evaluate why some projects are better at it and some aren't. Hello and welcome back to Understanding Crypto. My name is Herve, and every other day on this channel, I try my best to bring you cryptocurrency in the easiest way possible on the internet. I bring you predictive analysis, research, and tutorials to help guide you through this vast world of coins and tokens. If that's the type of content you find interesting, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel with your notifications on so that you don't get to miss any other value-packed video like this one. Now, in 2021, we had some serious NFT hype. Solana gained a lot of users, and the reason for this was mostly because Solana is an Ethereum competitor with cheaper fees and significantly higher transaction speeds. Something you can note from here is Avalanche, Near Protocol, and other smart contract crypto projects took off as well on this hype. So when a project is taking off or say rallying in price, there is an increased likelihood of other projects in its category to also take off or rally as well. So if Aave is taking off, you should be looking at Compound and Uniswap because they are of the same category and therefore they are much more likely to take off as well. Anyway, so the question is, why are some blockchains faster than others? Why is Bitcoin not as fast as Solana? It can't be that Satoshi Nakamoto just enjoyed building a slow network now, can it? I mean, the whole idea of Bitcoin's invention was to be used as a means of payment from one person to the other without the need of a third party. But this will literally require that people abandon the current system, aka Visa, which can process about 65,000 transactions per second as opposed to Bitcoin's 7 transactions per second. So why is this? This is simply what we are about to find out. On the 12th of October 2017, Vitalik, the founder of Ethereum, mentioned the concept of the blockchain trilemma in a blog post titled The Meaning of Decentralization. He discussed 3 main properties that blockchain networks found challenging to achieve in tandem or simultaneously. These properties are scalability, security, and decentralization. Scalability refers to the ability of a network to handle an increasing number of transactions and users without compromising its performance. Let's just call it fast, how fast a network is, yes? Now, security involves the network's resistance to attacks, tampering, and integrity. Decentralization is basically the distribution of control, authority, and data across the network. So the trilemma highlights that improving one of these properties always comes at the expense of the others. For instance, increasing scalability might require sacrificing some level of decentralization, or enhancing security might impact scalability. I will give you a quick analogy. For a decentralized network like Bitcoin with more than 13,000 nodes, it requires at least 51% or more nodes of this network verifying transactions. So As you increase the number of transactions, it therefore takes more time for all of those nodes to agree on all transactions. Whereas in a network that only has, say, 10 nodes, it will of course take far less time for them verifying transactions. But in this case, you have sacrificed decentralization to achieve this level of scalability. Just in case you are wondering, the lack of decentralization can mean network attacks or even some freezing of holders' coins. This has happened before. Centralization is a real problem. If instead of requiring 51% of the nodes in the network to confirm transactions, you change the consensus mechanism, more about consensus mechanisms in the description of this video. You change the consensus mechanism to only require 10% of those nodes in the network to verify transactions. You would, in theory, keep decentralization because the more nodes are still there, but you only require 10% of them to verify transactions instead of 51%. So you would, in theory, keep decentralization and gain scalability, but that would be at the expense of the network's security, because only requiring a small percentage of the network's nodes will render the network susceptible to attacks and tampering by some bad validators. So it's a real conundrum as we try to explain. There are two main factors we must consider when looking for transaction speeds on blockchains. And these are the block size and the block time. These parameters directly impact the number of transactions that can be included in the blockchain at any given time. So what the hell is block size and block time, eh? Block size refers to the maximum amount of data that can be included in a single block of the blockchain. For instance, the block size in Bitcoin is limited to 1 megabyte. And this is implemented like so to prevent spam attacks and maintain compatibility with older nodes. This is done to ensure that older versions of the Bitcoin software, which may not support larger block sizes, can still participate in the network and validate transactions. As you may know, on the Bitcoin network, nodes are basically computers that participate in the peer-to-peer network, validating and relaying transactions and blocks. When a change or upgrade is made to the Bitcoin protocol, such as increasing the block size limit, it is essential to consider the impact on older versions of the software that might not be aware of these changes. By maintaining the 1 megabyte block size, the Bitcoin network ensures that older nodes with older software versions can still function and interact with the rest of the network. If the block size were increased significantly, older nodes might not be able to process and validate larger blocks, leading to a potential network fork or split. So the block size limit is kept at 1 megabyte to maintain backward compatibility with the entire network of Bitcoin nodes, regardless of their software versions. So we actually see the intelligent design of this. The block time is the average time it takes for the Bitcoin network to mine and add new blocks to the blockchain. In the Bitcoin network, the target block time is set to approximately 10 minutes. This means that on average a new block is added to the blockchain every 10 minutes. Something to note here. The combination of the block size and block time has a significant impact on the overall transaction processing capacity of the network. Since each block has a limited size, it can only accommodate a certain number of transactions. With each new block being added approximately every 10 minutes, the number of transactions that can be processed per second is limited. Let's understand exactly how this works. So, taking into account the 1 megabyte block size limit and the 10-minute block time, the theoretical maximum transaction processing capacity of the Bitcoin network is estimated to be around 7 transactions per second. The figure can of course vary depending on factors like transaction size and other network conditions. The Lightning Network is a Bitcoin scaling solution which helps to solve this problem by processing transactions off-chain and recording them on-chain. So we see that by doing this, Bitcoin maintains its robust security and decentralization while sacrificing scalability. Now, this is particularly important because there are a lot of projects that claim to offer all of this that Bitcoin offers with scalability, unlike Solana, which chooses scalability and sacrifices decentralization. Now, because Solana is built to be a highly scalable blockchain, the network can handle a significantly higher number of transactions, and we're talking in the 65,000 transactions per second level. It's crazy. It can go even up to 400,000 as they claim. This number of transactions with Solana is achieved by having a dynamic block size mechanism that allows the block size to adjust according to network demand. With a theoretical maximum of 128 megabytes as opposed to Bitcoin's 1 megabyte, and a block time of about 400 milliseconds, or every 0.4 seconds, one block is added to the Solana blockchain. It's crazily fast. To put this into context, Solana adds 600 blocks to its blockchain as Bitcoin adds one block to its blockchain. So we see why Solana is faster. The caveat to this is processing more transactions also means having a lot of data on the network. And any validator joining the network will have to download all this data, which can be in the terabytes. And also, all this data will slow down the network as well, and sometimes lead to the network having outages, which is something we know from Solana in the past, and we will probably know it again in the future. So it's an on and off chain. Some people call it on and off chain. This is why Solana stores its data off chain instead. It's something that they adopted. They started outsourcing the data to Arweave in the last bull market, which is why I talked about Arweave. And yes, the more data they got, the more they had to store, and the more AR tokens they had to buy, causing Arweave's price to go up. But now they store it on Google Cloud services. This should show you why some storage projects could be very important, because to attain crazily high speeds, you will consequently process more data, which will have to be stored somewhere, and most likely off-chain. If you want to maintain the speed and also maintain decentralization, you will need a decentralized crypto storage project. That's why I think the storage line of projects will be a very, very important sector in crypto in the future. We simply cannot escape it if we want to process more data. Now, I know this video is getting quite long and some people would have left already. So if you're still here, comment "I am still here" in the comments. I'd like to know who was still watching up till this time. Now, having heard all this, you might wonder, why didn't I use XRP? Why did I use Solana? Why am I talking about Solana? Why is it that the XRP army would say XRP, or the XRP ledger, will be used for cross-border payments and not Solana? Why do they think XRP is a better candidate, despite the fact that Solana can process more transactions per second than XRP? The answer to this is XRP is very centralized, so its transaction finality is near instant, as compared to Solana, that may require about 6 confirmations for its transactions to be deemed finite. This is something you might have seen if you have ever sent crypto from your wallet to an exchange. You will see a certain number of confirmations needed before that crypto can be credited to your account. Confirmations here refer to how many blocks need to be created and attached to the block containing your transaction. So if you see 60 confirmations pending, It means 60 blocks need to be created and attached to the block containing your transaction before your crypto can be credited to your account. In the case of Mr. XRP, it's almost instantaneous because in the XRP consensus, trusted validators reach an agreement on the validity and order of transactions, allowing for fast confirmations and settlement. But again, this means some really serious centralization. So we see how and why some cryptos are fast and some slow. And most of all, what they sacrifice or use to make them as fast or deliver fast transaction finalities. When doing your research, things like this are very good to consider as they will guide you on how possible something can be achieved, because a lot of projects promise a lot of things. So the understanding of this helps guide the questions that you could possibly ask. A very centralized project could mean a lot of good things, but it could also mean that validators could get greedy and credit themselves with crypto. And yes, this really happens all the time. And of course, a very decentralized crypto could mean extreme security, but also mean a very slow project too. But after all, that's where scaling solutions come in. So we see how we can depict a problem and find projects that solve this problem because of our understanding from this video. We have understood that storage could become a very serious problem if cryptocurrencies want to be fast and want to maintain their decentralization. We've also seen what problems brought about the invention of scaling solutions like Polygon Matic. So understanding all of this really helps broaden the way we think when looking for cryptos to invest in. It's all good knowledge to have. Not that you will have to go through every project to make sure that it ticks every box, because, well, they don't really tick every box. But this understanding will get you alerted of a possible scam even when a project claims that they can solve all of these problems. If you do not understand the nature of the problem, you will not know why it's so difficult to solve, and thus you might just agree and invest. But if you understand, you will know the right questions to ask. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you did learn something from it. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments of this video. I will be starting my project review series very soon, and I intend to start with Bitcoin. So I will just have like quick overviews on the ones that we all know, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, but with some of them I will go like very deep into the research and review. So be subscribed for that. We will be having a lot of that coming up very soon. Thanks so much for watching again, and I will see you in the next video.